Hello everybody, welcome back to another video, and we are back for some more LDR content for LDR round number, season 6, race number 8, I believe, of the season. I'm not 100% sure, but welcome back to another video of LDR. I apologize that this video is roughly this video is roughly about 2 weeks late. I've just been very busy, and also with other things going on outside of my personal life. It's been pretty busy the past couple of months, so I really haven't had time to cover this episode, but I'm hoping to get this episode covered for mostly all of today because I need to really get this video out. But I will give you guys a fair warning for the next episode of LDR, which I will be discussing at the end of the video. There is also one that is going to be discussed at the end of the video about that upload. But 100% race tonight. We are not taking an engine pen. We have used both the engine penalties, so it is a full send tonight. 71 laps around Brazil. We had good luck here around Brazil last season. We actually got a P4, and that actually was probably one of the best races I've ever actually had on 24, I'd say, was that race, and especially with the teamwork that me and Reimer did towards the end. That was probably one of the more better races I had compared to a couple of the other races. But first lap here, it is a short quality tonight, not a full quality. Only 13 drivers, so it's really not too terrible. But to come across the line now, and so far there's provisional pole to 107.682, so pretty solid start to the lap, just ahead of Stealth and Reimer and CMS. So obviously we're fairly ahead of everybody else, I guess, at the moment. And Stealth, he's only a 10th off, so Stealth, who was a tier 2 driver, comes up to tier 1 because they kind of combined, like I discussed back in Mexico, they combined the two tiers and they came up with this. So so far a pretty good lap, and hopefully we can carry that momentum into the last run. Now usually the second run, we all know how it goes. We're usually not the quickest on the second run, but this lap is going to be important. Xylee moves up into P3 now. Xylee is probably one of the more championship threat drivers. Him and CMS are sort of going at it for the drivers. No Vaughn tonight, and I heard Vaughn has gotten a little bit of a nerf. No line for Vaughn anymore, which I think that might have been discussed in the Saudi Arabia episode. But Vaughn no longer has a line, which is pretty sad. But for our final push lap here, only doing 2 runs. I thought about only doing 2 runs. I think it was just better to do 2 runs, but pretty good first sector so far at the moment. Hit those corners very well. Gained around roughly 3/100ths of a second, so gained a little bit of time, obviously, like I said, but hopefully into this middle sector we can gain roughly about 2/10. Track Evolution's at a pretty good high right now, and hitting that corner very well, actually, and actually gained, look at that, about to gain a 10th going into that corner. In this corner right here, you sort of want to go halfway off throttle, and I've seen some people take it flat out. I'm not really a big fan of flat out. Stealth with the 107.520, so set a pretty good lap so far, and now heading into the middle sector, which I've been really struggling at this braking zone right here, but we actually braked a little bit later, gained about 2/10, and then gained 3/10 on the exit. So we braked a little bit late, but then we got the much more preferred exit, and now coming into the penultimate corner, I actually make a little bit of a mistake, lost all the momentum now, and it is now 2/10 to the line. So it's going to be a drag race. It's going to be very close to the finish line to see if we can snag pole position, but we come across the line now. Where is this going to put us? Purple sector 2. We come across the line, and it's a 107.519. So that is pole position. 1/1000th of a second. That was probably one of the closest pole position lap times I've had in a long time. And it is rare that I get a pole position lap, because let me tell you, me getting pole is like me winning races. It's very rare, but pretty good lap so far, and only like 1/1000, so Stealth was definitely giving me a run for my money. Now obviously we did make that mistake in the middle sector, or not the middle sector, the end of the lap, but still, that was still, no matter what, it was going to be a very close lap. So GG's to Stealth for making it tight, and Stealth, obviously, like I said, he's been really putting in the grind and coming towards the end of the game. So obviously some people aren't playing the game much, some people are. Me, not really been playing the game much. I've really only been really hopping on for about when the league races happen, so I barely practice during the week now. Obviously everybody's resisting over F125, so it makes sense. So I think a lot of people are kind of sandbagging, but we'll see what happens here. 71 laps around Brazil, Anything can happen in Brazil. No rain, just full overcast, lights out, and away we go. And we get a decent start, not the best start in the world, but Stealth gets a much better launch than what we did going down to turn number 1. We're going to lead into turn 1, so we give Stealth room on the inside line, and Stealth slots up into second place, and Reimer moves up into third. Reimer starting on the hard tires. He's going long, and he's on a unique strategy. We're going to try to sort of break this toe a little bit, nothing too crazy. And so far we move up into... So far we get a pretty good start, and we get our first track limits warning. Had a lot of oversteer going through that corner, and oversteer is going to be a bit of a issue at this beginning, and we are kind of trying to burn battery to kind of, let's say, stay ahead of Stealth to maybe just kind of prepare ourselves. But Stealth still very close behind. Stealth really just got the first lap nailed down better than what I did. Really struggled in the opening lap, but we pulled a full second already ahead of Xylee, but Xylee gained all that time back. And I heard that Xylee did underfuel for this race, so he's going to be a little bit quicker than compared to me in Stealth. I put a lap and a half of fuel in the car. I could possibly go lower, but like I said, I don't really trust myself when it comes to fuel saving. Maybe in the next year's game we'll consider underfueling, but I don't really like to underfuel when it comes to 50% races, but 100% races. If LDR continues to do this, we will possibly consider about underfueling. Not by much, but just, consider it. But so far, Xylee with the fast lap with I think he's somewhere in the 111s possibly, but he is definitely got a lot of pace tonight. And Xylee, who's been, I'd say, probably fairly underrated this season, he's really just had a really solid season. He's only had really, I think he's only had really he's had 2 crashes. He had a crash in Jeddah, and then he had the Japan incident, but he was really, really, really strong throughout the season. The guy's really been really just the fastest out of everybody at the moment. So definitely it's a pleasure racing with Xylee, but we go down the inside of Stealth and we make that ahead. But then Stealth fights us right back and he gets us right back down on the inside. So kind of a little bit of teamwork here at the moment. And Xylee goes up into third, up possibly into first. No, he doesn't. He stays out of that one. And Xylee is not burning any battery, to be fair. Now, we kind of were in hot lap mode. We burned a little bit of battery, which, again, maybe poor race IQ at the moment, because apparently sometimes you don't really need to burn your battery. But, yeah, that's just me being a league racing noob at the moment. And, yeah, so Xylee moves up into P1. Stealth hangs right behind him, and now someone has spun in the middle sector. I think that might have been Metal. Both the Haas's, I think the other Haas of Nerf, yes, Nerf, Jesus. Nerf had I think he took an engine pen, so yeah, he is roughly in that back area. So we kind of have a little bit of advantage, and also Zox is back there as well. Zox took another engine pen. Now, obviously, Zox got a Nerf. He's not allowed to use the line anymore. So there's a lot of people you seeing are getting Nerf, and I know it sounds crazy when I say about getting Nerf, but it's kind of true. They technically are getting a Nerf because they're not really allowed to use line. But this train actually, Knight caught up to this train, and Knight's been very, very, very quick. Now, we all know how Knight is. He has pace, that's clear. If he practices, he's very quick, but Knight doesn't practice. He doesn't play the games like that. But also, if you remember back in LDR, or not LDR, Rapid Racing League, at the final race, he was actually very quick through there. And he's got 3 seconds penalty while I'm talking about him, but he actually told me after the race that he just was really just on it because, again, we did the race in RRL, and he was, obviously I invited him to RRL, and he just was very quick this whole weekend, and I think obviously that is probably someone to consider to go for the one stop. I think out of all the drivers in this field, he's definitely going to be the one that goes for the one stop, because Knight's really got nothing to lose, but Knight always seems to go for the medium hard strat, and we're going to get around Xylee here. We move right back into the lead. At this point, just kind of DRS showing lap 15. Pit window opens about lap 25, so we're going to pit around there unless there's a safety car we come into the pits. So obviously Xylee still right there behind us, and Xylee's going to move right back up into position. No, he's not. He has to back off. So like I said, Xylee is under fuel, so he's going to have to save fuel. Now, Brazil, you can underfuel in Brazil and get away with it, but VSC has been deployed, and we will be pitting for the medium, for another set of mediums. So VSC came out. I think Nerdnick had a moment somewhere, or one of the McLarens had a moment. One of them spun and caused the VSC. So we go into the pits and we're going to pit for mediums. So is this really the right strat? I think some people are going to go hards. I think CMS, Stealth, Nerf, Zox, and my teammate are going to go hards. But VSC is ending. So it's actually pretty good that VSC is ending coming out the safety car. The pit exit. Jesus Christ, I need a coffee. It has been a long time since I've done a live comm, but lap 16 now, and yeah, we actually pulled a really good gap, and that's roughly, the gap is going to be about, I want to say 9 to 10 seconds. Yeah, look at that, 10 seconds. So Stealth is going to have pace. CMS is going to be a little bit slow, so there's really no threat from CMS. It's more about the gap between Xylee and Knight that we need to worry about. Now, like I said, Xylee has been tire management and fuel saving. So, like I said, Xylee is very good when it comes to tire management. He's a lot better than what I am. I don't know if he even is tire saving, but my guy is just very, very, very just smooth with the inputs compared to me, where I'm much more aggressive because I still don't understand the handling model in this game. But 2 track limits warnings now, 1 more, and we are getting a 3-second time penalty, which is kind of common in our resume at this point. We always tend to get a 3 seconds penalties in here, so you kind of expect it. But lap 19 so far, we've been kind of chugging along. Stealth is 8.2. Stealth is sort of pushing. I'm not really pushing at the moment. I'm kind of just trying to take it easy, manage the tires. I know my raw pace is going to be very strong compared to what Xylee's is at the moment. We are burning some battery a little bit, and we actually are burning a lot of battery. I think actually the reason why is because Reimer actually retired from the race from I think he got damaged, and then he pitted just to get rid of it. I think it was floor damage. So he came into the pits, and he was telling me to push, so he said use all the battery you got. And now Xylee is in for the pits. Now Xylee, the gap between me and Xylee is roughly going to be about 10 to 13 seconds, maybe about 8 seconds. So he's going to possibly be behind Stealth and possibly on air with Mike D. Mike D is reserving for this race, so he's going to be right behind Stealth. So it's going to be close on the pit exit between those two, but we've cleared that sort of pack. But then I knew Xylee was going to get right past Stealth, and Xylee's actually has the best shot because he has the best opportunity because he's on 10 lap fresher mediums of what we are. Our mediums are roughly on 10 laps, and all that battery that we were using, we were pushing, we actually burned all that battery. Now we got to sort of save that battery, and it's made through this middle sector. So maybe towards the towards the end of the stint, you're going to see me going into none to kind of save the battery, and that's probably one of the best sectors to really just manage the battery. You can see the gap that Xylee has gained 4 seconds. He hasn't really used much battery. I think he's only used roughly like about 10% a lap, so he's just using medium and a little bit of hot lap, and that's about it. So he's gaining at a rapid pace, and he roughly can, because again, he has a pace advantage at the moment, obviously on 10 lap fresher mediums of what we are. So this strategy at the moment, I'm not feeling too great, and now we have to really start putting this car into none mode, and we're really going to lose a lot of time because Xylee doesn't have to go into mode none at the moment. He doesn't really have to, but you can see how much time he's going to gain through this part with me just not using any deployment, any ERS at all. But you can see 1.2, 1.1, so he is catching, and we're still, the battery, actually, we saved up a lot of battery. Now we're down to 80%, so this is pretty positive, and we're going to now kind of play this game of saving the battery and also just trying to stay with Xylee, which I think is going to be very tough because, again, I'm really kind of struggling on the tires at this point. I pushed a lot through that stint to kind of get a gap from Xylee, so I need a really good, strong second half stint. That's what I really need to get, but you can see so far there is no threat from third place whatsoever. It is just down to me and Xylee at the moment, and I think Xylee has the best seat in the house to kind of run away with this. He's got the DRS. He's going to get the move done. Around the outside does Xylee go, and he moves up into P1. So Kick is back in the lead, and Sauber is back on top, and Ferrari falls down. So we are getting beat by our customer team, but it is okay because there is no threat whatsoever from my other Sauber driver because we all know who he is, and he is not here, aka Emerson. I'm talking to you, buddy. He is not a threat tonight. So Xylee, back to the main action up the front. Metal God, he was getting lapped, so he got out the way, thankfully, and that is actually, I think this is roughly the first time we've lapped somebody in a 100% race. So poor Metal, he's had a really just shocking race. He's really just kind of been here and there. But you can see Xylee's getting a lot more better exits than what we are, so we're really just trying to stay with Xylee, and we're staying with him a little bit. It's not too much. You can see we go into mode none because we don't want to burn too much battery, but again, he doesn't need to burn battery because it's just his pace is just amazing. He has a slight lockup now. I don't know if he really is locking up or it's just the game just being crappy with the lockups, but yeah, you see we're burning a little bit of overtake here. When we go into medium, we're going to be roughly about 60%, possibly, or maybe 60 at the end of that straight, and we weren't, but now we're down to 59, so we're really having to start burning battery. And we're hitting the apexes, right? I mean, we're trying to be careful with that first corner because that first corner can sort of catch out some drivers, and I've seen that during qualifying where if you hit that inside curb, your car will go for a spin, so you're really just trying to play it safe at the moment. But you could see 8/10 is the gap, and it's always, that's just betting the gap in 6/10 now, so really just trying to stay with him at the moment, but it's really tough to stay with Xylee, and I'm really starting to feel it because my tires are really starting to die off. And again, these tires have been on since about lap 15, so these tires are going on roughly now 23 laps, so compared to Xylee's 13 at the moment, so compared 23 laps to 13 lap tires, it's really tough. And you can see the exits, we just can't get the exits down whatsoever, and you can see Xylee has broken out of DRS. We're still a 10th there, but again, the detection line is right here, and if he gets that exit, he's good, and he's gotten it. So you can see he's getting a lot more better exits than what we are, and we've lost DRS now. Being told to push, and I can't push 1.4. I'm really struggling. So the strat's not really working too well at the moment, but that happens, and unfortunately it's just a really just unfortunate situation you could be in, because again, maybe if we pitted with Xylee, could we have stayed with him? I don't know. I mean, what if we pitted for hards and he got to pit for softs? I mean, the hards would probably explode on lap 15, let's be honest. Those hards would not make it to the end. But now we have a strategy call to make. Now Reimer's obviously in my ear, so we're discussing, and we're thinking about running softs. If we run softs, we're going to have to do a very long stint. Longer stint than what the softs can do, and that would be roughly about 20 laps, 25 laps, maybe 30 laps, compared to maybe what the hards are. And Reimer is telling me we should go hards to see if Xylee cooks those softs and we can catch back up towards the end, but he's going to need me to push all the way. So this is a really tough strategy call to make, and there's more about what I preferred. I mean, I don't know how I'm going to really feel with soft tires on for 20 laps because they're really going to die off, and that is clear. But we're going to have to make a pit stop now, and I think maybe this lap or next lap we're going to pit now. So we're going to see, and you can see the gap with Xylee was only 2.8, so we weren't losing a lot of time, but we were still losing. So we're going hards, and that is the strat that we are making. So onto the hards we go. Knights and CMS and Nerf stay out. They have stayed. That's not Nerf. That's Metal God. Sorry. Those two stayed out. So they're on hards. Knight is on hards. I think Knight is going to try to go to the end of the race. He's got 3 seconds. He ain't got nothing to lose. Stealth, 6 seconds. 26 seconds back. He's going to gain all that time back. But yeah, Stealth really just kind of fell back, I guess you could say, during the race. And again, he went hard tires. So there's a lot of people going hard, and I think Stealth maybe did the right call because I think he got a little bit of damage at the beginning of his medium stint. So I think he pitted for hard tires, but he coming into the pits now. This might be actually a retirement for Stealth when I'm talking about him. But Metal God, he's lapped, and he is going to have to get out the way. He does get out of the way. Thank you, Metal, for that. And obviously, no ghosting no more in LDR. That is banned for this season, so drivers have to avoid their accidents more procedurally, as we have a nice voice crack. It is a really long night as I'm recording this, and it's been a really long week, so apologies for that. But the gap behind 20 seconds, the gap in front 4.2 to 4.5, so it's definitely gaining a lot. And obviously I think CMS is going to come into the pits soon, but here comes Xylee. Xylee comes into the pits. We'll see what his advantage is. I think he is going to go softs because softs can roughly do 21 laps, so I think he's going to go soft tires, and I think this really might be the end of a horror show at the moment, but it's going to be tight between him and CMS at the exit because CMS is staying out. So is CMS also going to go out to the end on hards? But you can see Xylee, he had so much pace at the beginning, and you can see he's going to get us on the exit. There is Xylee right there coming out the pit exit, and a very tricky pit exit, but again, he went soft, so he is there's your leader, and our hopes and dreams are goodbyes. So Ferrari strat did not work, and the Ferrari call, maybe was it the right call? I don't know. I mean, maybe if we stayed with him, because he pitted, I think we pitted lap 43. How would the softs do compared to what Xylee's fresh softs? That's the thing I want to discuss. I mean, what would have known? But CMS comes into the pits. CMS is most likely gonna go softs. I think he's gonna go softs. That's what I think is gonna happen. But we have to pray for Knight to pull some amazing defense out of his asshole, and I think it is definitely possible. But yeah, CMS go soft. So, oh boy, the battle between second and third is going to be tight. But you can see Knight is defending his ass off to stay ahead of Xylee. And like I said, I mean, Knight's got nothing to lose, man. He's determined for a win. And there is no team orders down at Red Bull / Ferrari because I'm in a voice call with his teammate. There is none of that happening at the moment. Knight is just doing what Knight wants to do, and he's just wanting to fight Xylee. He's going to do a good run for his money, but Xylee shoots right around the outside of him and clears that gap to 2.1, so he ran away with it. Now it's actually curious to see if Knight can stay with him. And like I said, Knight's had really good pace all along tonight. He's got 3 seconds, but the gap behind him, I need to watch is CMS because we are possibly going to need a safety car. I think a safety car would spice things up because I think we are in a position to lose third place. I think we are in a position to lose third place. Lose second place, actually, I should say. Sorry, I mean, technically, if Knight gets his penalty removed, if he just got pushed off, I don't know. But Knight is still staying with Xylee at the moment, but he's burned a lot of battery, and he's actually falling out now. He's roughly going to lose a full second now. He's somewhat staying within the DRS, which I'm actually kind of surprised about. But lap 54, we're running the same pace as Knight, and Knight is, I mean, we're roughly 3/10 faster than Knight, but the softs, I mean, compared to the hards and mediums, I mean, he's still, like, pulling away a gap on those hard tires that have been on since, like, about, like, lap 15. Those hards are probably on, like, I want to say roughly, like, 60% wear. So I don't even know how my boy is doing this, but Knight, credit to you, buddy. You are doing your thing, but you can see Xylee 4.3 now. He's pulling away, and, well, being behind Knight is not helping us, and we have to try to get around Knight. But it's going to be, I'm going to have to kind of play it tough because Knight is going to defend. He's not really going to sort of race us at the moment. You can see we make a mistake and we hit the slight, I don't know if I just got a little too trigger happy on the throttle, but I had a weird moment of just oversteer and the car went. I think I just put too much throttle down, and there is a mistake made, and that's actually probably one of the more, I'm not really going to count track limits as mistakes, that's just whatever. But that's probably one of the first mistakes we've had this whole race. I don't think we've really, I mean, maybe the pit stop call was a mistake, but that was one of the more on-track mistakes. And now we got to gain all that time back, and we lost all that time to CMS now. So, man, we really just put ourselves in, like, we put ourselves in the wolves at this point. I mean, it is, oh, God. Oh my God! It is sweaty times here down at the in my place at the moment, and I am definitely feeling the pressure from behind. And now we got to gain all that time back tonight, and you can see the gap now is down to 1.5. So we've gained a lot of that time back, and we got the DRS now. So 10 laps to go. The gap behind 5.1, 5.2. Xylee is gone. Say goodbye to my win. You will never see Savage probably win another race for a very long time at this rate. But there goes Knight, and he's had a slight moment with the rears. And definitely tough for the controller players to kind of get the trail braking correct. But we have to burn battery. I mean, I'm not really going to step behind Knight because he's really going to be slow. I need Knight to pull something out of his rear and guard CMS from behind, because now I need him to help me out. I don't think he will, because again, Knight doesn't care at the moment, because I think Knight just wants to race. I mean, I'm no disrespect to Knight if he's watching this. I mean, he just wants to go. But safety car has been deployed, and I think Zox is out. I think he had a mistake somewhere, but This actually helped us out during the race, so we're going to pit for soft tires, and Xylee has a fresh set, I have a fresh set, Knight has a fresh set, Nerf has a set, CMS has a set, everybody has a set of nice, juicy, soft tires. It's brilliant. It is very much brilliant, but now the thing is, what's the deal here? Like what do we do? Like what do we do? That's the main thing I want to know. I mean, what do we do? So, safety car restart is probably going to be around lap 66, 67. We need to stay with Xylee. We need a good launch. And I'm mainly scared because of Knight behind. Now, like I said, Knight is on a controller. I think it is a little bit easier for controller players to kind of get the throttle down. But also with the stick, I feel like it's a lot more easier to save a slide on a controller on the past 2 F1 games, which I think that might have Knight catch an advantage, because Knight has always been very good on safety car restarts compared to me, so I don't want to really get caught out being dummied out by Xylee. But Xylee goes, and he actually dumped us out really well. But you can see Knight, he's already got a better launch to what we have, and he's had probably even a better launch to what Xylee did. And there goes Knight down on the inside. He's going to send it, though. He's not going to back out. He goes down the inside line, does Knight, and we give him enough space. Now we're going side by side, and this is actually helping out Xylee just enough. You can see that Knight burned all that battery, or he just had he had the inside line, and he's now up there. Now, like I said, Knight's got good pace, so he is going to stay with Xylee. I think that is clear. He will stay with Xylee. Now the threat behind is from CMS and also Nerf. CMS, always been quick. I've always had good battles with him. Never really had any bad moments with him. Nerf, we all know how Nerf is. He's a tryhard. Teammate behind Clint in 6, and also Metal in 7. So there's only 7 cars running left in this race. So this Brazil race has went from 13 to 7. So we had a lot of people retire, but I thought CMS was going to send one down the inside line. No, he does not. And 6/10 now is the gap. Now 5/10. So Knight is staying with him, but Knight can't get past Xylee. Xylee's wings he's on crack and steroids at the moment, but there is a 3-second time penalty. Oh boy, that is something I did not need, and just completely just cut the corner like absolutely crazy through there, and that one's on me. So the bottle top strikes again, but fast lap of the race also is pretty good, but the fight is still on, because again, the race is still on for second, because if CMS gets under threat from Nerf has 3 seconds, we can sort of maybe sneak in a P2, which is pretty impressive. So at the moment, lap 70 now, 2 laps to go left in this race. Anything can happen at the moment, so I sort of need Nerf to kind of send it on CMS on last lap, but here comes the final lap now of this race. So Xylee most likely will secure this win unless something happens between him and Knight, but you can see Knight now snags the fast lap towards the end. So Knight is pushing, he's giving everything at the moment, and we're staying with him. But again, you can't do anything if you're the third car back. You seriously can't do anything if you are the third car back in a DRS train. I mean, the DRS trains have been terrible this year. I cannot tell you how many times I've been in DRS trains in league races, and it is I hate it. I can't do it. It just annoys me, because when you're the third car back and the guy in front of you has DRS, you can't pass. You literally can't pass. It's like, honestly, running. It's sort of just like running at this point with nothing. I seriously, I can't stand being the third car back because I can't make a move, but it's just really unfortunate. But you can see that gap behind. Watch that gap between fourth place, 1.8 now. So Nerf is giving CMS a run for his money. Like I said, Nerf ain't got nothing to lose. He's going to go for it, and he's going to send one down the inside line, because I can see it back there in my mirror. He's went for it. He's gone down the inside line. You can see 2.5, 2.6, but it's going to be a photo finish. Down to the line we go, but Xylee is going to secure P1, but let's see if Knight can get P1 on track. No, he does not. We snag a P2. No, it's going to be third place. And kind of grateful that Nerf got 3 seconds, because, man, we were almost out of that podium. So I am grateful that he got 3 seconds. So thank you, Nerf, for that. But that is a podium. That is rare. That is really rare. So I'm happy. I'm not complaining about a podium. I can't really complain about a podium whatsoever. So that's pretty good, and I think that's probably one of the more better lucks that we had all season. We've really had a crappy season so far, and it's a mini season, obviously, because we're transitioning into next year's games. So I've really just had a rough season, so getting this result was really good. And even compared to what happened last week in Jeddah, this also feels really good to kind of get something going. So yeah, but that is all it for LDR, guys. I apologize if this video is roughly like 2 weeks late. And when it comes to Monza, there's going to be some YouTube shorts on it because, again, that race did not go so well. So expect some YouTube shorts on Monza. So just keep an eye on the short tabs if they pop up in your feed. Let me know down below. But thank y'all for watching this video. Have a good rest of your day. Have a good rest of your week. Have a good rest of your weekend. And I will see y'all in the next one.